Okay, folks, it's time for What Kind of Fail Is This?
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Marvel are at it again, where with their I cannot believe they are doing this.
Oh god, no. Oh no. No, no,
They
no.
have they have decided to they've decided to make changes to the Hulk's powers. Um the Incredible Hulk has always been extremely hard to kill, but that just became even more difficult to do in the pages of Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
So the Hulk finds himself in a rather precarious situation as he is literally split up into jars to be studied by the scientist of Shadowbase. After the lead scientist gets chewed out by his boss, he isn't very happy. You can thank Captain Marvel or that, by the way. And is even more incensed when Hulk's head starts smiling at him. Yes, the Hulk has been separated into separate jars and is still able to smile. This is not Futurama. He tries to intimidate Hulk, saying they are going to experiment on every part of him and even cut his smile off. But Hulk keeps smiling and he can't figure out why. In another jar, Hulk's hands start to move. Though, as the scientists realize what's happening, Hulk begins to snap his fingers, shattering all the jars in the lab and sending his body parts curling towards the floor. Hulk's body continues to come together as the scientist runs away, but he finds himself in the midst of Hulk's reassembling body. I didn't realize he was being part symbiote. He
Oh
pleads with
god.
he pleads with Hulk to let him go, but the Hulk's body continues to merge around him, eventually overtaking him, completely leaving only the shape of his hand reaching out of Hulk's chest. This is getting weird. And eventually disappearing into Hulk completely. So it appears that not only can Hulk survive being split apart, but his body will reassemble itself as soon as it can naturally, without the aid of any other medicine or aid. He can also, it looks like, absorb matter, in this case a human person, into himself if the need arises and will just become part of him. Another noteworthy ability is how he got out of the jars to begin with. Hulk was able to control his hand essentially with a mental tether of some sort, as it was in a separate jar, not connecting physically to his head or the rest of his body. Granted, you don't find yourself chopped up and put into jars all that often, but we're sure we can find other ways to utilize these new skills. I have nothing.
What?
I officially feel dumber as a result. I mean, here's the thing. I'm all for new ideas to try reinvigorate and spice up the comic's existence so it doesn't go stale. Not a problem with that. This is Asylum Channel bullshittery. I mean, if this had been applied to a symbiote, that would make more sense. Because you can split a symbiote apart, but then put it back together again after. Or if this was Sandman. But Hulk being split apart like he's a living version of the Mark 42 Iron Man suit. No. Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. When will you learn? Raiden, do what you must. I think I've said enough.
Don't mind if I do. You did it again. Hey, Marvel. You gotta do things ultra confusing just to be more edgy. Like what the hell happened? I mean, yes, 90s Marvel wasn't too bad. Okay, there was some weird shit, but still. I don't know about this. Like, what? I mean, I thought I was speechless of the whole Juggernaut shit, but this takes the cake, and who knows what they're gonna do next time. So, but I'll always be here criticizing what the fuck y'all doing. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all can take over.
Stephen Walker just says, Marvel, you're changing your character abilities because first Deadpool with the healing cancer, now this. No wonder most of your comic titles are going down the toilet. No, I think I'd just be optimistic at this point. I mean, say what we will about DC comics being edgy, but at least DC are going out of their way to try and save the comic book industry and actually sticking to the source material. Again, I appreciate, every now and again, you gotta try something new with a comic book line just to try and reinvigorate it and give it some new life. Like we mentioned, we mentioned Batman Begins earlier. That was a fresh take on giving a comic book movie franchise some fresh life, and they did that. This, again, I feel dumb just having read that. Lids, I don't even know how you're gonna react to this.
Oh, Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. I like your movies, but why?
Yep.
I pray that the movies don't get to this point in the storyline because this is fucking ridiculous. Why? I ask that question every time I read some kind of new storyline or some PC bullcrap that you guys are doing. Just stop. Or at least get default mode. I don't give a shit. Just stop doing this crap. I get, again, like you said, I like seeing characters evolve. But changing their powers like this never works out well. Or do we have to go to freaking Cyborg Superman to go for some kind of logic? Because how many times have you retconned his abilities? Or have those abilities been retconned? Anybody want to explain that to me? That's it. Just I'm just at a loss for words. My brain hurts.
One of the few times I've been more than okay with a retcon, whether it's in a comic book or in a movie, is when they did X-Men Days of Future Past, where it retconned the events of The Last Stand, Origins Wolverine. It just did away, because from what I understand, 20th Century Fox wanted to do a straight reboot. Bryan Singer says, no. Give me one movie. I can fix all of this. And he did.
Yeah.
And it was a good way of Wolverine interacting with the X-Men First Class years, which seeing Logan in the 70s interacting with a young Charles Xavier and a much younger Hank McCoy, those are some of the best parts of the movie, where he's being the mentor to who is to be at that point his future mentor, and just saying like all these things that Xavier is hearing that Logan knows and he's never told anyone. It's like, okay, you have me intrigued, tell me more. But any other time they've done retcons where it's unnecessary like this, I'm like, why? That'd be like, let's say for the sake of discussion, they turned Kenshiro into a suave James Bond character type. Be like, that's different, but why? Imagine him like, Kenshiro pulling up in a tuxedo, going, the name's Shiro. Ken Shiro. And Ray would be like, dude, just keep doing what you're supposed to do. No, none of this. Well, they can do a nice retcon in WWE, get Nikki Bella to not only to stop being an annoying heel character, learn how to wrestle, and just fight and not talk. Because that would make Lydia very happy.
Oh, that would be extra happy. Or if I could get my hands on the Infinity Gauntlet, just write her out of existence. Just, you don't exist anymore. Snap.
That was on you, Lids.
I'm not talking about murder. I'm talking about erasing her from existence. There is a difference, you know.
All right.